One of the questions, I'll get that in just a minute. You mentioned something about cell phones, and we're talking about a poor country. So we're assuming that they all have cell phones. Mm-hmm. They may not, and so how are you going to be able to move digital money if you don't have a way to actually have access to a digital platform? I don't know of any way that someone could feasibly have digital money without a cell phone as a person. Right. It doesn't make any. There's not a kiosk or some kind of digital ATM or. No, I mean you could do that, but you're basically replicating the bank system, which is defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose. The idea with crypto is that the person's in control, right? And it's their control of what they have, and then the blockchain and all of the crypto is verified independently in all these places in the world. So I think we need to find out in these poorer countries if they have access to a digital platform that they can actually exercise it in. Because if not, the whole concept falls on its face. Yes, right? Correct. It falls on its face.
It's almost 1:1. Their cell phone penetration in El Salvador.
Is what?
1:1. Cell phone, one person, one cell phone.
No, so they have a lot of cell phones. Okay, good. Yeah. All right, well then good. That makes sense. All right. How do you think that will help their economy if they're a poor country? I don't see any downside. Yeah. I can't think of one way it's a downside, because the more places that are accepting of it, it allows more commerce. And it could be that when you think of a country, a lot of countries have assets that they trade with, right? Yeah. Gold has been a classic one where many countries all over the world have kept gold even in the U.S., but other places. But after World War II, Germany and a lot of countries had their gold stored here for safety. And what they did is the gold that was in the Bank of New York, they were able to borrow against it, right? And so maybe El Salvador's thinking is that they would have another option for trading with other parts of the world, and maybe. And I do think this is where we're going, is that I do think countries will start bartering in crypto. In crypto. Now, we opened this segment talking about the macro going into the micro, and we went global, we went to El Salvador. Let's bring it home. So, as I understand it, if we bring it home here into Texas, I believe their Governor Abbott, has now done something with blockchain. What's that? You want to elaborate on that? Yeah, so he's accepted blockchain. He's starting to open up the idea. So Texas has always been very open-minded for business. A lot of big corporations have moved to Texas. Yeah. For gold and silver, they've always been a proponent of it. They don't tax it. Some states do tax gold and silver sales. They don't. They believe it's a currency. Okay. So now their idea is that they want to accept it. The goal is, for him, is to accept it as legal tender. Okay. So that would open up businesses to accept it, to barter with it. So and also the underlying current of that too is that as China has banned a lot of their mining of crypto, they would become an option for people to move there and mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, because their energy costs are lower and they have very favorable tax laws. So walk me through it. Abbott gets everything he wants. Abbott gets everything he wants. And then how would that look like? How would Texas change, like from the day-to-day workings of business into it being a benefit for the entire state? Well, I think you could pay taxes with Bitcoin, or whatever cryptocurrency they start to accept. You could buy all goods in crypto. I think what it allows for, if you look at the world economy, it allows other countries to start conducting business with people in Texas, right? Because, Asia, there's so many people, there's so many miners in China that would love to invest in Texas, right? They'd love to put their cowboy hat on, their boots, and buy a house in Texas. So I think they're thinking
we're going to attract a lot of wealthy people to invest here, maybe move here, bring a lot of money here, which has happened. There's always been an exodus of money from China to other places for safety. They've always been wealthy people in China have always been concerned about their wealth there, so they've always invested. I think we discussed that. Part of the movement in Canada and Toronto, a lot of those homes and condos were being bought with Chinese money. So now maybe the next place that they're going to invest would be in Texas.
Okay. Now, is there any restrictions that you know of that would, let's say, for example, me as an actor, they're shooting something in Texas. Could they pay me potentially in crypto if this thing goes the way that Abbott likes? Do you know what I mean? Like, would that be feasible? Or is there like a California restriction or a cross-state restriction that would prevent them from doing payments outside of the state?
No, you could get paid. Yeah, I mean, in theory, you could get paid as an actor, I believe, unless SAG has some regulations again. I think you can get paid in any way you want to get paid. We could pay in cattle, or we could pay. I don't know if there's any restriction, but it would be interesting to have that more as an option for the entertainment industry too. Because think about that. Think about all that money all over the world. Coming here and doing productions and doing, so it just gives you a lot more flexibility. Yeah.
And appeal. Because people are like, hey, look, we can do this. It almost seems as if, like, there's a part of me that makes me feel like, well, Bugsy, what's his name? Bugsy for Vegas.
Oh, Bugsy Siegel.
Yeah. And he kind of created this thing with Vegas, and then the concept of the explosion of Vegas and what it can do with the attractions and all the people from around the world can now be part of this other thing, which is really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's extremely exciting, and also I think what it's doing is it's putting the world in a position where governments are going to have less and less control.
Now, we're going to reload. I have another question, so put that on pause. The question is going to be this. What's holding back crypto? And I think that you might have mentioned something about education. So I want you to when we reload, I want you to walk us through how we can educate individuals, and once we all are elevated in our educational status, how that could potentially play out for benefiting all of us.
Right.
Okay?